My sheep are almost here. They're on their way right now. They have been in transit today. They're coming from about 6 hours away, so they've had a long day, but I cannot wait to meet them. I am so excited to add them to our homestead. We are getting a Finnsheep breed, and specifically a dairy line of Finns, which I cannot wait to try. So I need to do some last minute prep. Let's do that. So you might notice we are in my duck area, and that is because our fence has kind of stalled out a little bit. We just haven't got that far, and I am leaving in 2 days to head to Illinois to go to the Homestead Freedom Festival and give a lovely speech, I hope, about patience and grace towards yourself, and also to do a hands-on meat demonstration, meat curing. So this timing has just worked out weird. The lovely lady that I'm getting the sheep from has had so many things going on in her life, and it just hasn't worked out for us to get the sheep delivered until right now. So it's not the most ideal timing, since I'm turning around and leaving 2 days after they arrive. They need to be in a solid fence. They cannot be living in electronet. Electronet is wonderful. It has so many great uses and great purposes. It can be lovely, but it is also such a hazard. Even electrified, this last year, we have had a skunk get itself tangled in the electric net, and my husband has had to get a small doe untangled and out of the electric net. Sheep will get spooked, and they will bolt when they get spooked, and they'll get tangled in the fence, and they'll either die from fright or they'll get electrocuted. And it's really, really tragic. It happens all the time that sheep just get tangled up in electric nets, and they don't fare well. So the ducks are in the electric net right behind this area, and I'm gonna see how the sheep and the ducks do kind of cohabitating a little bit. I'm gonna leave a little ducky door in the bottom of the doorway here so they can go out and play in the electric net area where I know that they'll be safe, but the sheep have to stay here in the solid, tangible fenced area so that nobody, hopefully, Lord willing, nobody dies while I'm gone. So they've got some nice alfalfa and Timothy hay right there. I'm gonna go get their little mineral feeder buffet thing set up now. If you own or have been looking into getting your own sheep or goats, you've probably seen the mineral buffet situation. It is just the thing these days to do. So I'm not doing the full mineral buffet. I'm not doing all 20 or however many they are right now to start with. I did a little bit of research on my own area, and the nutrition deficiencies that we usually have here, I have selected a few things that I'm gonna set up for them to have free choice. And I got these awesome little containers that just clip onto the fence really easy. So I'm gonna get these set up for them. There we go. Okay. I've chosen this spot kind of under my nice tree here to hopefully keep it out of the weather a little bit. I don't have a good covered area to put this yet, but someday this would hopefully go in more of a designated sheep shelter area that was continually under cover. And the ducks are gonna be so talkative because I'm right here. But anyway, first thing I'm using is this Daily Red from Redmond. It's a red garlic salt, and it's supposed to really help with keeping the flies down. So we're gonna be trying this. We're gonna be doing copper. This is kind of a controversial one for sheep, but I think it's becoming more mainstream for sheep. And I feel pretty safe feeding it just free choice, as long as it's fed free choice and it's not mixed in with other things where they could accidentally OD on it. Baking soda. Just regular kitchen baking soda is really good to have out for them to just self-medicate with, because they can easily get an acidic stomach, and this just nips it in the bud, helps prevent all kinds of problems. So a little bit of baking soda. And kelp. I did this with my last flock of sheep, same with the baking soda. The garlic salt and the copper are new to me with this stinging tree. The garlic salt and the kelp are new to me with this flock. So I've done more research and I've learned since, gosh, it's been maybe 15 years since I've had sheep. It's been a really long time. But I did do kelp and baking soda with my, you guys are so talkative now. With my last flock of Shetland sheep, and they really love this. This is just a nice kind of natural multi-mineral for them to enjoy. And again, since I'm feeding it free choice and I'm not mixing it in, it's something that they typically won't hurt themselves with or overdose on. They're usually really good about knowing what their bodies need. All right, so there's their little vitamin mineral buffet. Okay, we're gonna take a quick little sit on the porch and decompress while we wait for the sheep to arrive. We've got about 15 minutes left until they should be here. And I've got some really exciting news I wanna share with you guys while we wait. I've been sharing all of my passions and weird hobbies on YouTube for about 4 years now. And in that time, so many people have reached out asking about going deeper, going beyond the comments section, really having that one-on-one support as they go through learning these new skills. A lot of that is meat curing, but some of you are, fermenting and canning and doing some of those things for the first time, and you want more one-on-one support. You want to be able to share your photos and ask questions and have more of that interactive feedback. And 100%, I totally get that. And YouTube is just not the platform to have that deeper connection and that deeper community. So after all of these years, I am finally launching the Patient Preservers community, where we can do just that. I'm going to be hosting monthly live Q&As. We're going to be able to see your photos and your progress, and you're going to get regular live help walking through these new skills so that you can really be confident as you're going on your journey. I'm really excited about this. I cannot wait to meet some of you guys on this deeper level, really get to connect and see your projects and help you through those. So a link to that will be in this video's description, and I'll put it somewhere up here as well. I'm so excited to get to share that with you guys. Oh my goodness, they're so cute.
Are you gonna eat now that we're standing still?
Now that we're here.
You guys want some water?
Now that we're not moving.
Go that way.
We're going on a goose chase now. They are officially loose.
Don't let them go down the side yard. If we can get them.
Hi, come on, cutie. Okay, buddy. We're almost there.
You are definitely gonna have to edit this.
That's fine. There you go, buddy. There. Okay, that was really eventful. I am wearing a lot of sheep, but we got them in. Finally, they did escape. We overestimated how much they would follow a grain bucket. It's fine, we caught them. They are safely in their new habitat, and they are stinking adorable. So you guys can come meet them now. They are definitely a little bit skittish, which is to be expected. They're in a totally new place. They were in the car for over 6 hours, but I think they're coming around already. They're starting to eat and explore their new home. We have, let's see, the two slightly larger ones are the girls, and their names are Belle and Cocoa Puff, named by my daughters. And the littler guy is our ram. He's about 5 weeks younger than the ladies, which is why he's a little bit smaller. And his name is Father Abraham, which I think is just going to be my go-to name for rams for forever, because that was my first ram's name, and he has such a special spot in my heart. He was the sweetest. He was my Ferdinand. He liked to lay down in the wildflowers with me and have a snack and a belly scratch. He was just the sweetest guy I ever could have wished for. So hopefully that name will bring sweetness and goodness to this little guy. Anyway, I'm so happy to just have them here and be done with it. They're here, they're settled. I can't wait to spend time with them and get to know them more. Sheep are a really wonderful multi-purpose animal. They are good for their wool, their meat, and their milk. So I'm really so excited to be adding such a wonderful multi-purpose animal to our homestead. These guys have gorgeous fleece. I cannot wait for them to be in milk next year, and I'm sure they're going to make many gorgeous and delicious offspring as well. Now, I'd love to know, have you ever considered sheep for your homestead and all of the purposes that they could fulfill? I know that goats as dairy animals is kind of the default choice, but it's so fun to see the rise of dairy sheep popularity. My friend Rachel Hester, who's going to be speaking with me in Illinois at the Homestead Freedom Festival next weekend, she is the dairy sheep queen. She knows so much about dairy sheep. She's so wonderful. So if you are curious about getting into dairy sheep for yourself, I'm going to link her channel and her book and all of her wonderful stuff in this video's description. You guys should definitely check out her work. She is an absolute wealth of knowledge, and I'm so lucky that I have her on my cell phone to call up whenever I have a question, because she is the gal with the answers. Anywho, I am covered in sheep now, and it is the end of the day. It's time for me to go in and have a shower, finish packing, and getting ready to head out on my next big adventure.